Hey, what's going on, everyone? Well, hey, let's just let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube, and then let me jump into my reaction to the Michigan Wolverines 13-10 victory over the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes. Okay, I can see myself on YouTube. All right, I'm going to play the yellow and blue, the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes edition, and then I'm going to jump in and give my reaction to the game. Go blue. Let me know who's here. Let me know what you think about what we just witnessed. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. Most of you all know who I am. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am the owner of this channel, and I am a Michigan alum, and I am a supporter of our Michigan sports. So go blue. So Michigan just defeated Ohio State 13-10 in the shoe, making it 4 straight over the Buckeyes. So the prediction going into this game was that Ohio State will win the game by 21 points. Okay. And my thought going into the game was that if Michigan had, in fact, found something last week against Northwestern, and if Davis Warren could protect the ball and make some throws, and if our defense could slow down the Ohio State offense, then Michigan could make it a game. And it turns out that today we saw all of those things happen, and Michigan got the 13-10 victory. I'm in upstate New York right now. I went to go watch the game at Buffalo Wild Wings on Niagara Falls Boulevard. Shout out to Raheem Gaines, who passed away earlier this year. He was an Ohio State fan. We used to watch the games together there all the time, along with the rest of our gang. But I watched the game by myself. I went in with no expectations. My sole hope was just that Michigan would make it a game. And then as the first quarter went on, and then as the second quarter went on, and I saw that Ohio State was not blowing us out, the longer that game went on, I started to feel like Michigan had a chance to win. And it got, as we went into the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and the game was still close and the game was still tight, I could start to feel my heart beating, because I knew that a victory was a possibility if things just fell right for the team. And it was scary. It didn't always look like it, but the Wolverines pulled the win out. And I think there are some reasons why they did that. And there are some reasons why Ohio State lost the game. You guys let me know what you think there in the chat. I'm going to talk for a little bit. I'm not going to talk too long, but I'm going to read. I think the big thing coming out of this game is the future of Ryan Day. If you watch any of the Buckeye podcasts and other channels, they're already calling for Ryan Day's head. Ohio State still can play for the national championship. They're still a playoff team, but they're not going to the Big Ten championship game. Penn State and Oregon are, but they are calling for Ryan Day's head. I don't think he'll mind, but our resident super fan, Abdul Gaines, who is rooting for Ohio State now, he used to root for us. He said this. I try to reassure him, hey, man, you guys are still in the playoff. you can still win the Natty. He says, you know what? It doesn't matter. In the biggest of games, Ryan Day doesn't shine. 1st and 10 at the Oregon 26 late, no run plays. Your quarterback runs out the clock. Okay. Against your rival, you can't run the ball. You don't target your freshman phenom wide receiver in Jeremiah Smith. In the second half, once again, losing the rushing battle to your rival, not winning the conference title again, let alone not playing for it again. You've only ceded Big Ten ground to your rival, but you've also ceded Big Ten ground to Oregon. The only conversation worth having about Ohio State is firing Ryan Day. Yeah, so I'm a gracious winner. Okay, not everybody is. So we know what that feels like, to have your coach's competency questioned over and over and over again. And we know what it's like to have our head coach, to have calls for our head coach's head. So I'm a gracious winner. I feel for Ryan Day and I feel for his family. But this is a part of it. And they have lost the last 4 games, despite how hot Ryan Day started off against Jim Harbaugh when he took over from Urban Meyer. Okay, so I have some notes here, and then I'll go over the statistics, and then I'll wrap up. But whoever's watching, let me know what you think there in the chat. I thought, let's see, Ohio State scored that field goal in that first quarter. There just weren't many points in this game. I think that's a testament to the game plan that Wink Martindale drew up. But also, I would blame some of what happened on the Ohio State side. I would blame it on their play calling during the game. Joel Klatt repeatedly said Ohio State needs to throw the ball to the outside. Why aren't they throwing it to the outside? There are advantages to the outside, but Ohio State kept trying to run the ball on our defensive line, our stellar defensive line with those NFL prospects: Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Josiah Stewart, Derek Moore. And I think maybe Ryan Day and Chip Kelly were thinking about the fact that whoever wins the rushing game, whoever wins the running game typically wins the game. So maybe that's what they were going for, but their advantage was clearly on the outside. And they stopped. They didn't exploit that as much as they could have. Anyway, so they scored a field goal in that first quarter. Amir Hall got one of Will Howard's. He intercepted one of Will Howard's balls in that second quarter. I wrote down that set up Khalil Mulling's touchdown run. Okay, let's see. Jeremiah Smith did have a big reception in that second quarter. Actually, no, that was the Jair Hill. That was off the Jair Hill pass interference call. So there was a big completion by Will Howard to Jeremiah Smith that drew there was a pass interference call by Jair Hill on Jeremiah Smith, and that set up a touchdown throw to, I think, Emeka Egbuka. And I wrote down here, Jair Hill didn't turn his head around to find the ball. I think if Jair Hill had turned his head around to find the ball, he could have picked that ball off. Let's see. In the third quarter, I think the game was at halftime. At halftime, the game was, let me see. At halftime, the game was 10-7 Michigan. No, at halftime, the game was 10-10 all. I'm sorry. Okay, so in that third quarter, AP Media, thank you for stopping through. Thank you for the congratulations. I wish I could say that I contributed to the win, but I was just at Buffalo Wild Wings rooting for our team. So in that third quarter, Davis Warren missed Tommy Doman, which would have kept the drive alive. Now, there were some clutch catches in this game by Tyler Morris, and I think Peyton O'Leary. He caught one falling down on the ground near the sideline. Marlon Klein made some big plays. Colston Loveland didn't play. Donovan Edwards went out early with an injury. Will Johnson didn't play at all. Please smash that like button if you haven't. But there was a play where Ohio State pinned the Michigan offense back near our end zone. Davis Warren rolled out. And I think this is where accuracy comes in because the kid was wide open. I think Tommy Doman was wide open there on the sideline, and Davis Warren just overthrew him. So I think this game pretty much epitomized what we saw all season long. If we just had a competent offensive play, particularly competent quarterback play for most of the season, Michigan would have won a few more games. And so even if you're a coach and you're calling the right plays and you're putting your players in the right position, if your quarterback doesn't have the skill or the accuracy in the ball placement, then it doesn't really matter. So Davis Warren overthrew that kid. Let's see. Will Howard threw another interception with 3 minutes and 45 seconds in that third quarter. I think that one was to Makari Page. So that was the second big interception that Will Howard threw. Davis Warren turned it back over. I think that wasn't the goal line. The goal line interception. Ohio State's kicker missed a kick in the third quarter. He missed 2. That was arguably the difference in the game. If he made both of his field goals, Ohio State could have won the game 16-13. In the fourth quarter, Peyton O'Leary made that clutch catch, rolling on the ground. I wrote down there was a Denzel Burke penalty, which gave Michigan a first down. Davis Warren threw that interception at the goal line. So Davis Warren had one of our other, I think it was the freshman tight end in the end zone. And Michigan had first and goal. And if Davis Warren, I don't know why Sharon Moore and Kirk Campbell just didn't hand the ball off 4 straight times to Khalil Mullings, but they opted to try to trick Ohio State. And they opted for a pass play to the tight end. Davis Warren, if he just put some more air under that ball, he could have completed that pass, but he threw it right to Jack Sawyer. And yeah, I thought that might have been the ball game right there for us. But Michigan, the defense was the MVP for this game, in addition to the running of Khalil Mullings. And Michigan, we were able to get the ball back after that back-breaking interception by Davis Warren. And then that's when Michigan, that's when we saw that big run by Khalil Mullings with 45 seconds left. Khalil Mullings ran into the line. He kind of staggered off the line and then dashed up the sideline for 21 yards. That was a huge pickup. And that arguably put the game out of reach for Ohio State, and it made Ohio State burn up all of their timeouts. So at that point, Michigan just handed the ball off to Khalil Mullings and got the ball in field goal range. And Dominic Zavada kicked the ball and put us up 13-10. And then that was the ball game. So then Ohio State, it was pretty much, they had no timeouts left. And you knew that they had to throw the ball down the field. They couldn't run the ball. So they had to throw the ball. So that was the perfect situation for Wink Martindale and his defense. And to end that game, Ohio State turned the ball over on downs. But what I will say, in addition to the great game that Wink Martindale called, Michigan was also tackling in space. Okay, so for most of the receptions that Ohio State made, Michigan's defensive backs were disciplined enough to wrap those guys up. Even Jeremiah Smith, who they've been bragging on all season, even Jeremiah Smith, Jair Hill on that play when he took him out of bounds, on plays like that, our defensive backs wrapped them up in space. And Ohio State wasn't able to get much done. But I think that Ohio State definitely, even though they had that advantage on the outside, Ohio State wanted to establish themselves and assert themselves on the ground. And that was in part their undoing. Okay. Ashwin is stopping through. He says, how about that Michigan defense. Michigan gets it done on the road. What a game, go blue. Yeah. I mean, Michigan got up for the game, but I will, and this will probably be Ryan Day's outdoing. They did not play us in the most. They did not play us in the smartest way. So I'm going to go over some of the statistics here, and then I'm going to wrap the stream up. Here's our resident super fan right now. Abdul, I hope you don't mind, but I just read your text. He says, an embarrassing performance by Ryan Day once again. Ohio State is the collegiate equivalent of the Miami Dolphins. Can't play in cold weather. Fire Ryan Day, 2 exclamation marks. All right, so let's take a quick look at the statistics here. Guys, please smash that like button. And please consider subscribing to my channel if you are not subscribed. All right, so let's take a quick look at the stats. It's a very, very fascinating game statistically because Ohio State was supposed to win this game by 21 points. All right, so yeah, we'll just do a comparison here. So Davis Warren had a very Davis Warren-esque game. I thought he played well aside from the 2 picks, and both in that pick, that one at the goal line, if he had just put a little bit more air under it, that would have been a touchdown, but he threw it right to Jack Sawyer. Anyway, so we beat Ohio State with Davis Warren going 9 for 16 for 62 yards. He would have had a touchdown if he put more air under that ball, and 2 interceptions. Think about that. 9 for 16 for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. Will Howard went 19 for 33 for 175 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. So those 2 interceptions kept Michigan in the game. And also those 2 field goal misses by their kicker kept Michigan in the game, in addition to the atrocious play calling by Ryan Day or Chip Kelly. Dre Ellerby is here. Thank you for stopping through, Dre. He says, go blue. Okay. In terms of rushing, yeah, Khalil Mullings has been our MVP all year, in my opinion, in addition to the defense when they've played well. Khalil Mullings carried the ball 32 times for 116 yards and 1 touchdown. Alex Orji had a big run in there. He carried the ball 3 times for 32 yards. Let's see, Donovan Edwards went out early. He got hurt. For Ohio State, Quinshon Judkins carried the ball 12 times for 46 yards. And then Travion Henderson carried the ball 10 times for 21 yards. So they did not get much going on the ground. Michigan was wrapping Ohio State up in the secondary, and Michigan was getting penetration in the backfield and shutting down their running game. Okay. Peyton O'Leary caught 1 ball for 18 yards. Tyler Morris caught 1 for 14 yards. Marlon Klein had a good game. He caught 3 balls for 13 yards. Hogan Hansen caught 1 for 9 yards. Frederick Moore caught 1 for 6 yards. Donovan Edwards caught 2 for 2 yards. On the Ohio State side, Carnell Tate caught 6 balls for 58 yards. Emeka Egbuka caught 4 for 51 yards. And Jeremiah Smith only caught 5 balls for 35 yards. Travion Henderson caught 2 balls for 25 yards. And G. Scott caught 2 balls for 6 yards. Again, that's a testament to Michigan's tackling in space, okay, which was a key to success under Jesse Minter, and it was a key to their success today. All right. Michigan, no one sacked Will Howard, but they did hurry him, and they did bother him, and they did flush him out of the pocket, and they did compel him to make some very, very bad decisions out there. Ohio State did not sack Davis Warren. That's good. He got the ball out. He did throw those 2 picks, but he did not get sacked. And yeah, again, Michigan tackled in space. There were 2 picks on each side. Amir Hall and Makari Page picked off Will Howard. Jack Sawyer and Caleb Downs both picked off Davis Warren One of those picks was in the end zone and would have won us the game if Davis had thrown it over Jack Sawyer's head. Let's see. Yeah, Dominic Zavada, he was also the hero of the game. He was 2 for 2 for field goals. And now I'm going to go to the team stats. And then I'll wrap this stream up. You guys keep letting me know what you think there in the chat. Yeah, this was a game that I just hoped that Michigan would keep close. And then as the game went on from that second quarter into the third quarter and then into the fourth quarter, I started to get the feeling that, well, at least until Davis Warren threw that pick in the end zone, I really thought we could win the game. After he threw that pick, I said maybe not. But then when Michigan held their offense and we got the ball back, I said, okay, well, yeah, we can win this game. So go back. All right. Michigan had 13 first downs. Ohio State had 16. Michigan was 7 for 14 on third down. Ohio State was 6 for 16, so they were pretty even. In terms of yardage production, the teams were pretty even. Michigan generated 234 total yards. Ohio State generated 252. In terms of passing, Michigan generated 2 yards. Ohio State generated 175. In terms of rushing yards, Michigan generated 172. Ohio State generated 77. Okay. Michigan had 4 penalties for 50 yards. Ohio State had 2 penalties for 9 yards. In terms of total plays, shout out to the Snowman. Total plays. I'm looking to see here. Total yards. Okay, I'm not seeing the total plays here. That must be on the Google side. But in terms of time of possession, Michigan held the ball. Yeah, this was another key to their success. Michigan held the ball for 7 more minutes than Ohio State did. Let me go over to the Google side and see if I can pull up the total number of plays, because sometimes that tells you something about what happened as well. Total yards, total plays. Yeah. So that was pretty even as well. Total plays, Michigan ran 58 plays. Ohio State ran 59. So, hey guys, it's a great win. It's a good win. It's been an up and down year. I didn't think Team 145 would finish 7-6. Team 145 is 7-6, and they are going to a bowl game. I think we're going to find out very, very quickly what that is. I mean, obviously, we wanted to be in the playoff, competing for the Natty once again, but this is where we are. This was a bit of a transitioning and a bit of a rebuilding year. Unfortunately, we didn't have more offense with the defense that we had coming back. But the good news is we have Bryce Underwood coming in next year. So not only are we bowl eligible, we beat Ohio State for the 4th straight year, but we seem to have our solution at quarterback next year. There are other questions. What kind of a defense are we going to have next year? But the big position that you need that can keep you in games, the quarterback can't win you national titles by himself, but the quarterback is a critical piece, as we saw today, in terms of winning big games. Because I was texting with Mason Blue Mike that when Davis Warren overthrew Tommy Doman on the sideline, those are simple plays that keep you in games. Those are simple plays that keep drives going. Those are simple plays that keep your defense on the sideline and keep the other team's offense on the sideline. And so your quarterback needs to have, he needs not only arm strength, but he needs smarts up here, and he needs accuracy. Davis Warren overthrew a lot of wide receivers this year. Abdul Gain says, the only worthwhile discussion to be had about Ohio State is firing Ryan Day. Well, Abdul, you guys are still a playoff team. You have to let them finish out the season. You guys could catch lightning in a bottle and go on and win the whole thing, but you'll still cry about this loss. Dre Ellerby says, OSU fans may want to try to get their house back, LOL. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. The fight broke out. The fight broke out afterwards because our players wanted to plant the flag, and the Ohio State players weren't very happy about that. Ashwin says, Ohio State, yeah, here you go, Abdul. Ohio State can still win a national championship. Remember, there were lots of upsets and near upsets this season. Yeah, Ashwin, but this one, even if they win out and win the national title, they'll be an at-large team. This one is still going to hurt. It's going to hurt Ryan Day. It's going to hurt all those kids who haven't beaten Michigan, who never got their golden pants. This one's going to, I do feel for them to a degree, but I'm happy to have the win. Okay, here we go, Ashwin. Here we go. Here's his rebuttal. The playoff doesn't matter. The Bucks can't defend their home field against their most heated rival. Ohio State can't win a title with their offensive line. Okay. Well, I think this is sports. They could still, just like Michigan found something last week, Abdul, Ohio State can, they have a couple of weeks until their first playoff game is announced. And, the good thing about a playoff is that you can always turn it around. Regardless of what happened in the regular season, you can always turn it around. But there are going to be a lot of calls for Ryan Day's head in Columbus tonight. That's pretty much all I have. Again, this was a game that I did not have, based upon how Team 145 played most of the season. I did not have huge expectations going into this game. But the longer it went on, with Ohio State not blowing the top off, I started to feel more and more that we could win it. And then in that second half, I could feel my heart starting to beat, thinking that we could potentially win the game, and they were able to pull it out. So that's all I've got for Michigan. Now it's waiting to see who our bowl opponent is going to be. I suspect our NFL draft prospects won't play in that game. Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham. We know Will Johnson's not going to play. I don't know that Colston Loveland would come back for that. But they're going to get the 15 practices, and the younger guys are going to get more reps. And then it's the off season, more recruiting, and then Kurt Campbell might have saved his job today, because it was Davis Warren who threw those interceptions. It wasn't play calling. So, and shout out to Michigan. Shout out to the offensive coaching staff for calling that. I think it was a wide receiver toss, a wide receiver pass. Joel Klatt said, Michigan needs to mix in a trick play somewhere. It's time for a trick play to get them a first down, to put Ohio State back on its heels. And then sure enough, that's when I think it was Peyton O'Leary through that quarter, that wide receiver pass to Kendrick Bell. And that's when Denzel Burke got the pass interference call. And that's what got Michigan that first down, and which set up Davis Warren's Jack Sawyer interception. But I think the offensive coaching staff called a good enough game today, and Wink Martindale called a good defensive game today. So, guys, that's all I have. Congratulations to Coach Moore and the team. And yeah, Ohio State, good game once again. I guess, yeah, your next win will come next year or maybe the year after that against us, or the year after that, or the year after that. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thank you for hanging out in my chat. If you're watching this on the playback, let me know what you think about what happened today in Columbus. I'm a little mixed about planting the flag. I think you want to win with grace. Abdul Gaines, you want to win with grace, and you want to lose with grace. And that was quite a melee that broke out there on the field. And it was kind of surprising that the security and the coaches didn't do a better job breaking that up. But you want to win with class and lose with class. And I don't think they necessarily needed to plant the flag this time, but they did. So it is what it is. All right, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is Big Discussions 76 Sports. I will create more content leading up to the bowl game once it's announced. And yeah, I may try to track down Johnny Olden Jr. to get his synopsis on Team 145 and what we saw this season, and then what to expect in the bowl game and in the offseason. So thank you to all of you for your support. If you're watching this on the playback, please smash that like button and also consider subscribing to the channel. Go blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. I'm going to read Abdul Gaines's last comment here. I got to get his last word in. He says, and Ohio State can't win a title with Ryan Cooper or John Day or whoever his name is. Okay, so your coaching staff, Abdul, is Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, and Jim Knowles. That's your coaching staff. All right, everyone, have a good night, and go blue. And congratulations to Team 145. It was a brutal year, but this is a satisfying finish to the Big Ten schedule. So congratulations to Team 145. Go blue.